Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. This is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know. Look, tooth and eye, cabin bolthead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin, not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me the killer can walk through locked doors? Niet, it's impossible. Ah, he's right.
But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie threads around.
You're trying to do the same thing I just told you about. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find in any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap in sight. No thread or needle or magnet could have been used.
No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so...
Susato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that? So, Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? To put it to you that one could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of this method, and I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Miss Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes.
Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Miss Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you, because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling sign of the method used. So the sign of the method, so we want the bookcase.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things have toppled over.
That must have been when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes through the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over.
I believe, yes, it's what's known as the Force of Inertia, acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Susato doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book, at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in the cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Ah! It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We'd come into the cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like...
Inspector Hosonaga. Oh yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, and it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed,
The SS Booyo had made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hands across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Ah, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then, when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like Mr. Asogi's cabin. Oh my! Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova?
Are you out of your mind? You say Booya made emergency stop.
It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room.
Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm.
Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider.
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not?
You are idiots! Booya's huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Fascinating! Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night?
That'd be the blankness in this.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right?
That is correct. Why?
And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties.
What are you doing with that? That is mine!
Ah,
you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all.
Nothing recorded in the log? That is... because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you?
Indeed so, which tells us shortly after 2 a.m. something happened here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact.
Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish!
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself.
Oh, why?
Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing?
Sorry? What do you mean?
Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it.
Ah! Oh, yes. I've had a headache. You're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected.
He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Oh, because they already said that he didn't like chicken, so he didn't eat the dinner last night, which was chicken. And the food was drugged because the ship, they already said that she was part of the crew previously. So this is all part of the ship crew in order to secretly get her on board. They drugged the entirety of everyone on board. Hi, Lobster, how you doing?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you?
Oh, well, yeah, sorry.
The stowaway class of accommodations doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on?
Why was he in the closet? Because he was a stowaway. Cosmo actually snuck him in. So that he was hiding in the closet. And I'm doing fantastically. It's a new Hearthstone Hearthstone day. I killed someone with a sword of 1,000 truths, and now we're playing Ace Attorney. So it's a good day so far.
Ah, well, Cosmo looked after.
I'm sorry. Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals.
So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it?
Yeah, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken.
Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all?
That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant?
My dear fellow, does that not strike you?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
I do. No.
Really, is that really true?
The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific? Wow. Designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it.
Salmonella! We've all been salmonella'd.
A sleeping drug?
Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so that no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely! Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, Every single member of the crew was a conspirator.
What? Mr. Sholmes!
Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals.
I am enjoying it, thank you very much, Lobster.
For aiding and abetting a renegade.
Please, no more. I will tell everything.
Eh?
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel.
I don't believe it.
You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night.
Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point.
Da, we could not make all drug. How do you say, dissolve?
Talk about heavy seasoning.
At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Buria slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion that evening their evening meals had contained.
So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who dislike chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely, every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug.
Quite. And accordingly, all passengers would already be in their cabins for the night.
Yes.
The overwhelming majority of passengers would have habitually slept with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked long enough and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that revealed the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night.
But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
You like to speak your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt in the wind.
What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me.
Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talk? Oh, wait. No, I get it.
It would have to be someone that could speak Japanese and Russian. Because she didn't know. She doesn't know Japanese. Or she couldn't. If the wardrobe said, "Do not disturb," meaning whoever could read that note knew that there was someone hidden in there, and that's why they wrote wardrobe. So if they are just purely Russian and can speak or read no Japanese, it can't be them. It would have to be someone who at some point spoke or wrote Japanese. So I can't think of who actually. Is there someone in the court record? Give me people. Imperial Police who's undercover mission posing as member of the ship's crew. No, because he was knocked out as well. A real wall of a man and a senior member of the Russian crew who's in charge of security. Young fly the homeland, Russia.
I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance if you please.
With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes?
With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two provocateurs.
Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened.
Precisely! You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning.
All right, I'll see what I can do. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Oh. Chunky arms. Sailor's hat. Left ear. Right ear. Is she missing an earring? Yo! Oh, buddy!
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, you seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there.
Yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain.
It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear.
Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it.
My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what the stain on the back of Stroganoff's uniform really is.
Yes!
Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform.
Ink? A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. A Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of uniform is ink of the exact same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moment immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I press a button to make Buria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff, please.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I look inside, I see student boy on the floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in the cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Sogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor.
Yes, that is right.
So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova was then visited the cabin next to hers.
Only to find the occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. Not Angel? The door was not locked. So she opened door and looked, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student cabin and looked,
I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Word. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last?
ah, something very nearly slipped my mind.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes?
This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident then precipitated these events. A kitten, on which the victim stumbled? However, if those are the facts, there's one particular area in this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. What do you mean, unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, well... If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of luck broke his neck, which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? Which part of the photograph print seems unnatural? I mean, if he broke his neck, he'd be on his back, I would think, first off. Right? I am at a loss. I am actually at a loss. Like, do they want me to point to the neck? No. What do they want me to point to? I mean, it's not the writing. I don't think it's the headband. The only things I can think of are, like, his pointed hand, his clenched fist, and the neck. Whoa. Alright, let's think about this. Okay. I don't think it's the neck because I don't see a bruise, but it said there was no bruising. The finger can be argued that they moved that finger itself to, like, point and do the writing. The fist, though, if he instantly died, why was his hand balled up in a fist? That's the... Like, I'll be honest, that bugged me. I feel like there was another Ace Attorney case where, like... I mean, just go for it, I suppose. Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist... Okay, so it's right. Just doesn't quite seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled. That is nowhere near what I was going with it, but sure. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madame. Would I keep you in suspense? Oh, shit. That's her missing earring. I noticed that earlier. Wait, so he was... Wait, was he fucking alive? And she just fucking axed him? Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. Very pretty, but... It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruto, that is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. Ballerinas have a high kick. Oh, please tell me she fucking, like, drop kicked him in the back of the neck. Like, I don't know why. Like, just, I want to see that, like, animated. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance does it have? And observe! Find the answer with your own eyes. Fucking bitch!
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent moon as well. Ah! Duh! And on your other ear, there seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding onto it must have broken, I suppose. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova. Mr. Shoji must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Sogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his last moments? Oh no.
Angel?
No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Yeah.
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship, and then, when I was at last in this cabin and could relax after this horrifying long day, horrible long day. Daka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka could not come back. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry. He's Alma, right?
I thought it was a friend of mine.
Oh, wait. He knew the inspector was here.
A young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin...
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before.
Ah!
Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the Far East know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth, and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Daka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help? from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway.
I heard Nina cry out in front on door, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go."
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would have suspected the passenger in the cabin next door?
Yes. I went into cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping.
Right, that's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put strange paper sign.
Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent.
I dragged young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilled on to right floor. I wrote so that person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job.
By pressing the emergency button in the passageway?
Yes. Accordingly, the SS Buria did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery.
There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
It was when it was what he said first that made me scared.
What he said first? What are you doing at this time of night, Inspector?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
He said an inspector was his friend.
Ah, yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, I... May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I'm not Cosmo, so I don't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done it. No objections, only facts.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's one more deduction to make.
What? Another deduction?
Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed?
First,
Consider the victim's location within his cabin.
That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage.
So, this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss
Wow. I'm almost out of words. Yes, it's exactly how it was.
Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. If there's one thing I've learnt today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Cosmo looking at?
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Cosmo was going to ring the bell cord.
Yes, however, what it is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Ah! Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Sogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Sogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter, to see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Sogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But, unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that.
I'm sorry. Really? I'm so sorry. What have I done?
And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Burya was finally laid to rest. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now, then?
Once we reach Great Britain, the roundabout will happen, and then we'll all rock our socks off. Okay. Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard.
What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to I'm sorry, my vocabulary is destroying her. Repatriate her? Oh, I can't that word right now.
Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out.
Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? Repatriate means to make her come back. Okay. I'm sorry, Han. Like, after this case, as much as I want to play more, I literally cannot talk more.
No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's an exile for life.
I see.
I'm sorry.
Seaman Stroganoff?
I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost good friends. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police.
That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosmo's death feels like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you?
Da.
Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yeah, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even began, then. It wasn't until I started watching you play that I learned that Ace Attorney was more than just a game about yelling objection at everyone. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Susato-san? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. I know. Wish there was something I could say. Ah. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down, and I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now at... Huh? Ah ha 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 ha!
Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo!
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry. So I decided to restore them, for old time's sake, shall we say? You are a stowaway, after all. Oh! He thinks this is funny.
Mr. Sholmes, we do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heart-rending. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong.
We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was by one lawyer and one assistant. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? In the light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no, I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san.
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. I fucking knew it's him. God, I fucking love Sholmes. Like,
this is the first chapter he's introduced in. We're not even done with it. He has a mini cape. I want to cosplay. He has goggles. Fuck, I need to cosplay him. I need to cosplay this bitch so fucking bad. Like, fuck. Yes, he has a mini cape. Look. Look at the mini cape. He has a mini cape. I need to cosplay this bitch. This is one of the bitches I need to start off with. Like when conventions get in full swing again, I need to cosplay this guy. Like, fuck, he is so much more fun than I thought he was going to be. Like, so much more fun. Oh. Fuck. Yeah. Are you saying you're gonna cosplay him? Because if so, that would also be fucking awesome. He does have an assistant, too.
All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely?
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but...
But anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes. Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry, in that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England shores. Is that right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo.
That's ridiculous.
Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learnt enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato?
Oh, that's cute as fuck.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you.
So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say?
Are you serious?
One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, would you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until the very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer. Give us that fucking smile again. Hell yeah. I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm going to fucking slit your throat when you sleep. I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword. It's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Susato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you. I haven't eaten all fucking day. Do you have some of that goddamn chicken? Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. Oh, shit. Well.
Stop it. Get some help.
Y'all stop thinking with your dirty minds, okay? Y'all disgust me. How dare you? She just wants to be thrown down to the ground by a man with another man still in the room who sounds oddly like Pegasus. What? I should never have doubted you. You are Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. You should have been obvious. It should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away and the cabin door was locked. No! I won't allow you to make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take a hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. Just right on the bed. What?
I mean, I said just throw it on the bed 5 times. Just keep going. No, I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Is it weird? I kind of want that to, like, I kind of want it to happen. I don't know why. I just want them to explain to me why it would be okay. Like, Naruhodo-san, throw me again. Go harder.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm really feeling it.
Alright.
Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one requires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed.
When did he see that?
I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling?
Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. It's apparently it's called the Susato Takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me.
How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am somewhat accomplished boxer.
There he goes, dancing around again.
I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your resting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored. Fucking throw the bitch.
Then let's not delay. Demonstrate, my dear madame.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. No?
Oh, she's gonna fucking throw me!
Sorry. Hi-ya! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Ah, yes, interesting indeed. And that is what the term, the Susato Takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was a Susato squash.
These fucking bitches. In my groggy state of consciousness.
A scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind.
I shall pierce the heavens. Okay.
Karuma?
That's right! It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asoki clan.
I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely?
A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that.
So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling.
On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me.
Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you.